Welcome back to Sip and Talk.
Hey, everyone.
So today we're getting into a topic that's, well, it's fascinating, but also kind of awkward sometimes, isn't it?
Definitely. We're talking about Taiwan isn't buying it. The one China lie feels awkward and dead.
Yeah, basically trying to figure out why the word China has become almost a trigger word for a lot of Taiwanese people. And we'll look at the history, the reasons, all from an international sort of objective viewpoint.
It's pretty wild how much baggage one word or like one phrase can carry. We're going to explore that identity stuff, the sovereignty currents flowing underneath.
Okay, let's start with how this actually feels for people in Taiwan. You see it online, right? All the jokes, the sarcasm when someone keeps saying, China is great, you are Chinese.
Yeah.
Why is that so off-putting for them?
Well, think about it like this, maybe. Someone's wearing, I don't know, the absolute ugliest outfit imaginable, and they just keep going on about, isn't this super stylish? You look like me, you should wear it too. When your whole vibe is just completely different, but they're insisting you should be the same.
Right. Or another way to think about it, imagine your house is literally on fire, smoke billowing out, and someone's standing there yelling, our house is awesome, come live here, while it's still burning. Seriously.
It's that kind of disconnect. It doesn't land right.
My favorite one we came across was this. It's like someone made a statue out of, mud.
Okay, mud statue.
Then they kneel down and worship it and try to drag you down with them, saying, this is our sacred cultural tradition. It just feels forced, like you're being made to join someone else's weird party.
Exactly. And it's not just a name anymore. It's about this really deep emotional shift. In Taiwan, the word China, it seems, has already gone from being this kind of maybe ambiguous thing to a pretty strong symbol of, nope, not interested.
A real rejection.
Yeah, it's a whole phenomenon, really worth digging into.
Okay, so let's peel back those layers. This idea that some try to, belittle Taiwanese people by forcing this term China-Taiwan.
Right. There's this underlying logic, first, that language occupation is a preview of sovereignty.
Say more about that.
So when Beijing pushes China-Taiwan, it's not just naming a place. It's seen as a kind of discourse control, almost like a verbal colonization attempt.
Okay.
The message underneath is basically, you belong to me, you don't need your own identity, just get in line. It's like this verbal united front work saying, you can't be you, you can only be part of me.
And for Taiwanese people, hearing China, Taiwan, it isn't neutral at all. It feels like an insult, right? Like denying who they are, making them smaller.
Exactly. It's like asking a woman who just got divorced, so how's your husband doing?
Oof, yeah.
Or telling a full-time artist, oh, that painting stuff, cute hobby, not a real job though. It just dismisses their reality.
So it's a kind of subtle cultural invasion. Humiliation, but not like yelling insults.
Precisely. It's softer, but it cuts deep.
So how did China become this stinky tofu, this toxic word in Taiwan? It wasn't always this way, was it?
No, not entirely. Historically, there was this idea of one China, different interpretations. Taiwan, called itself the Republic of China. And there was some wiggle room, at least in theory, for each side stating its own interpretation.
Right. The ROC versus the PRC interpretation.
But especially in the last 10 years or so, Beijing really ramped up what you could call its one China fundamentalism. They just squeezed out all the space for Taiwan's view.
So now, if someone in Taiwan says, we are also Chinese, it's basically heard as pledging loyalty to the CCP.
Pretty much. It's like they turned a phrase that could have cultural meaning into a political loyalty test.
And what comes to mind for most Taiwanese now when they hear China?
Well, based on what we're seeing, the associations are pretty negative. Things like harsh lockdowns, constant surveillance, stability maintenance, those double standards on stuff like treated water, suppression of artists, censorship, the Great Firewall, blocking the internet, and then some frankly bizarre policies like the three-child policy or state-sponsored stuff like village basketball.
And don't forget the little pinks online.
Oh yeah, those online mobs launching attacks. You put all that together.
Where China just becomes this bundle of negativity, a socially toxic symbol, as some put it. No wonder people are repulsed.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? China used to mean, culture, ancient history.
Right, the civilization.
But the CCP is so tightly wrapped those characters, Zhongguo, around the current political regime. So even if people feel a cultural connection to that broader sphere, they don't want the political label that comes with it now.
So Taiwan isn't about geography for them?
Nope. It's a political threat. Pure and simple.
Okay, Let's talk about these hidden communication tricks, these or patterns used to diminish Taiwan. You found 5 common ones.
Yeah, these little verbal traps. First one, your little brother.
And the typical Taiwanese reaction is like,
excuse me, I don't remember agreeing to that. Just total shock at the presumption.
Okay, what's next?
We are one family, don't fight one another.
Ah, the emotional blackmail.
Totally. The reaction is often classic abuser line, trying to use family to shut down disagreement.
Okay, number 3.
The backhanded compliment. Your TV dramas are pretty good.
Huh. And the response?
Condescending much? Get lost. I didn't ask for your opinion. Just rejecting that kind of patronizing praise.
All right, 4th.
This is part of Chinese culture.
Which makes Taiwanese people wonder.
Okay, so does our unique Taiwanese opera belong to you now, too? Questioning that automatic claim over their distinct culture.
And the last one, the big one.
You're just brainwashed by foreign countries.
Ugh, the classic dismissal.
Yeah, basically the automatic reply from the little pinks, right?
Yeah.
Just completely denying any independent thought.
So, connecting all this, what's Taiwan's strategy now? Why the big shift to just saying Taiwan, maybe not even Republic of China, Taiwan sometimes?
Well, it comes down to that idea. Language represents sovereignty.
They want to name themselves.
Exactly. They're refusing to let Beijing write their script. For many, China has become a tainted name, loaded with all those negative images we talked about. It's not neutral.
And they don't want to be dragged into that negativity.
Right. Saying China, Taiwan feels like an attempt to smear them, to make them part of something they reject.
Okay, but to be fair, let's look at Beijing's side for a second. Their logic for saying China, Taiwan, or Taiwan, China. Where does that come from?
Well, it's primarily based on their historical and political claims. They point to history, like Taiwan being part of the Qing dynasty and then being handed to the Republic of China after World War II in 1945.
Which Beijing sees as its predecessor state.
Right. So from their perspective, using those terms internationally reinforces their claim that Taiwan is and always has been part of China. It's about sovereignty for them.
And it's interesting, a lot of countries, including the U.S., formally acknowledge this one China principle, don't they? Even if they interpret it differently.
They do. The U.S., for example, recognized the PRC back in '79, but kept this policy of strategic ambiguity towards Taiwan. They acknowledge Beijing's position, but don't necessarily endorse the claim over Taiwan. And they don't say clearly if they defend Taiwan militarily. It's a very careful diplomatic balancing act.
But the feeling on the ground in Taiwan is just moving further and further away from that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. People in Taiwan are increasingly rejecting any China label. Surveys consistently show like over 80% identify as Taiwanese, not Chinese.
And a big driver for that is seeing what's happening elsewhere.
Definitely. Negative views of mainland China's political system, huge concerns about the one country, two systems model after what they've seen in Hong Kong. That's pushed people to really emphasize their separate identity.
It really is complex. Both sides have their own logic, rooted in different histories and identities. Lots of room for friction.
Okay, let's talk about that one China, different interpretations idea. It used to offer some flexibility, right? Keep things from boiling over.
Yeah, it was kind of this ambiguous agreement, mostly used by the KMT party in Taiwan.
But now, it's pretty much dead in the water. Beijing doesn't really allow for different interpretations anymore. It's become what some call one China hardbound. Basically, one China, my way or the highway.
So, quick history refresher. The 1992 consensus was this understanding, or maybe misunderstanding.
Yeah, it depends who you ask.
Where both sides agreed there was one China, but could privately interpret it differently. Taiwan's KMT government saw it as the Republic of China, ROC. Beijing saw it as the People's Republic of China, PRC.
And during the Ma Ying-jeou presidency from 2008 to 2016, that interpretation, one China, different interpretations, was kind of the active policy. Beijing seemed willing to live with that ambiguity, at least on the surface.
But things changed.
Big time. 2016 was a turning point. The DPP, the Democratic Progressive Party, won the election in Taiwan. President Tsai Ing-wen rejected the premise of the 1992 consensus. And around the same time, Xi Jinping in Beijing was consolidating power and really emphasizing unification.
And Beijing's reaction?
They basically said, nope. The core of the 1992 consensus is the one China principle. And just like that, poof, the different interpretations part vanished from their official stance.
So, one China, hardbound. No room for Taiwan's interpretation. Only Beijing's. What does that look like in practice?
Well, we see three main things. First, language hijacking. China dictates the terms. They don't accept the ROC's existence anymore and push hard for phrases like Taiwan, part of China, everywhere internationally.
A second.
Intense international pressure. They go after anyone, countries, companies, celebrities, who dares call Taiwan a country or uses terms Beijing doesn't like. Think Olympic names, airline websites, actors' apologies.
Yeah, we see that all the time.
If you don't say China, Taiwan, you get accused of promoting two Chinas or one China, one Taiwan. It's constant pressure.
And the third feature?
An internal struggle aimed at creating identity confusion inside Taiwan. They use ideas like shared Chinese culture, common history, one family, but it often feels like a cover for pushing their sovereignty claims.
The underlying message being,
you don't really belong to yourself. You belong to the China we define. It's a psychological game, really.
So why did one China, different interpretations, collapse? Was it ever truly accepted by Beijing?
Probably not. It seems it was always more of a KMT interpretation that Beijing tolerated for a time. Plus, under Xi Jinping, there's just less room for any ambiguity. Everything's become more rigid.
And that wolf warrior diplomacy style hasn't helped.
Not at all. Their language got much harsher. And tying national rejuvenation so tightly to unification means any wiggle room looks politically incorrect to them now.
But maybe the biggest factor is just the Taiwanese people themselves.
Absolutely crucial. People in Taiwan, especially younger generations, just aren't willing to be represented that way anymore. They reject the China label. Tolerance for any version of one China is incredibly low.
Do we have numbers on that?
Yeah, surveys from 2023 showed over 65% identifying only as Taiwanese. And support for one China, different interpretations, was below 10%, practically gone. After the 2024 election, talking about the 1992 consensus is almost political suicide for many Taiwanese politicians.
Wow. Okay, digging a bit deeper. This insistence from China, Taiwan is part of us. It feels belittling to Taiwan. Does it maybe reflect some insecurity on China's part, like status anxiety?
That's a really interesting point. Some analysts suggest exactly that. China's concern about its international standing, its legitimacy, Taiwan's democracy, and its international friendships challenge Beijing's narrative, so they push back harder.
And that line, you only disagree because you're brainwashed.
Classic cognitive warfare tactic, right?
Yeah.
It's designed to completely dismiss the other person's ability to think for themselves. Just writing off their views is foreign manipulation.
Meanwhile, inside Taiwan, this identity shift is undeniable. From I am Chinese to I am Taiwanese.
It's a massive shift. Over 80% now identify primarily as Taiwanese. And it's strongly generational. Older folks who grew up under the ROC might still feel more Chinese, but younger people who grew up in a democratic Taiwan, overwhelmingly Taiwanese.
What drove that shift?
Several things. Democratic reforms after '87 opened up society. Education changes in the 2000s started focusing more on Taiwanese history, not just mainland China's. And Beijing's actions, the military threats, what happened in Hong Kong, that just solidified the desire to be distinct.
But that term, Republic of China, Taiwan, still gets used, right? What's the thinking there?
It does serve a practical purpose, especially internationally. It allows Taiwan to maintain its claim to sovereignty under the ROC Constitution, while trying not to directly provoke Beijing too much. It's a bit of a compromise.
But it's not a final answer for everyone.
No. Some see it as just kicking the can down the road, leaving the identity question unresolved. The blue camp, generally the KMT, wants to keep the ROC framework. The green camp, the DPP, leans towards just Taiwan. But they have to be cautious because of the military threats. It's a tough balancing act.
So to sort of wrap this up, Beijing's claim comes from its reading of history and politics, but Taiwan increasingly sees it as demeaning.
Right, and the brainwashed argument is a way to shut down debate. Meanwhile, Taiwan's identity has fundamentally shifted, especially among younger people.
And Republic of China, Taiwan is like a pragmatic placeholder for now, but the future.
Well, it depends on how all these forces play out, internationally too.
Exactly. It's still very much an evolving situation.
Now, we just want to be clear, we're not here to bash any country or group. Our goal is just to lay out the different perspectives, the facts as we understand them, so you can think about it for yourself. Yeah, independent thinking is key here.
Yeah.
So if one China, different interpretations was kind of a fog, and one China, hardbound, is the reality now from Beijing, Maybe the answer emerging from Taiwan is simply, I am who I am, and Taiwan is Taiwan.
Makes you think, doesn't it? What really stands out to you from all this? How does it change how you see identity, sovereignty, all that big stuff? Well, that's about all the time we have for today's Sip and Talk.
Thanks so much for tuning in.
Please make sure you subscribe to Sip and Talk wherever you get your podcasts. That way you won't miss our next chat.
And hey, a big shout out to our old friend Mickey. Definitely check out Mickey's YouTube channel, Mickytolife.
Yeah, awesome memes, great music. And he's got his latest wine tasting videos up, plus travel vlogs too.
Always good stuff from Mickey.
Cheers, everyone.
We'll catch you next time.